Okay.
Just what a phenomenal round. You've been playing so good. You've got a lot of confidence, Peter. Just what is it that's trending with you right now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I mean, I felt like I worked really, really hard and smart during our shutdown period. And then I came out when the tour started up again and played terrible. And I kind of, I mentor a few of there's one in particular, a golfer at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville where I live, and then a couple of junior players in town. I mentor these guys, and I always am telling them, hey, hard work pays off. It just doesn't always pay off as quickly as you want it to. And I give that advice, but I was getting very impatient with it myself. And it's really cool now to see, like, I think a lot of this hard work that I did over the time when the tour was shut down is really starting to show now, because I was trying to get a little more consistent with my ball striking, especially off the tee. And starting in the Dominican Republic 4 weeks ago, at Corrales, I really started to feel comfortable with my driver, and that's just carried over all these weeks. And from there, I feel like I'm always going to be a decent wedge player. I've worked really hard on my putting to get it back to the level where I want it, and so if I can drive the ball well, the game starts to feel easy to me. It's never easy, but it starts to feel easy if I can drive it well. And so I'm just in a nice little stretch right here where it all feels good.
I'm going to focus on the 9 birdies you made today before the bogey at 17.
Yep.
Well, plus the bogey 17
Yep.
because you birdied last. But out of the 9 birdies, which one was your best in your opinion?
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good question. I started par on 1 and 2, and both those holes you feel like you could get some birdies. So it's like it feels like a slow start to start par, and then on number 3 I made like probably a 25-foot putt, and just beautiful right in the middle of the hole, and that just to me I was like, okay, I'm still going. Like I'm still because I had 2 weeks off after the momentum in Sanderson, and then at the Shiners I had 2 weeks off, and so to make that putt I was like, okay, I'm picking right back up. So that first one was big.
You were just telling Kevin at PGA Tour Radio about some inspiration on the last couple of holes. Just talk us through that 17, the bogey, and the birdie on the last.
Yeah, so 17 was just a matter of I decided in my practice round that if I can hit it over the bunkers on the right, I'm going to hit driver and be aggressive and turn that par 5 into a more or less a par 4. But that's a very tight area, and it was a calculated risk, and I hit a bad shot. I pulled it and hit it in the water. And so from there I did my best, but ended up in a funky little spot, made bogey. It's like, it's got to be the easiest hole on the course if you drive it well, and I made bogey. So caught back in the present, hit a good one off 18, and I'm walking up the hill on 18. I look over to the right, and I see my wife and my recently turned 1-year-old boy, and it just made my day. I mean, I'm always in pretty good spirits, but to see them, and it's the first time Hatcher's been on the golf course. He was with me in Mississippi, but he wasn't allowed on site. It's the first time he's been on a golf course since the players were before. So that was really awesome to see him, and then to cap it off with a birdie, just perfect ending to the day.
You've shot 3 rounds of 63 or better in your last 3 starts now. Fatherhood seems to fit you well, or is it just something else that's going on with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes back to that first answer. I'm driving the ball well. I've worked hard. Like, my strengths that have kept me on tour for as long as I've been here have been, wedges and short game and putting. And I've worked hard to make sure that those are still sharp. And my long game's starting to click a little bit and get a little better. And so, that definitely is what's going on here right now. But I tell you what, the fatherhood, having, the absolute best wife and mother in the world there to take care of our little boy, and just to be a part of that makes all this a little easier, because I just know I'm going home to that, and they love me whether I shoot 63 or 83, so it makes it easier.
And just finally, it's your first trip to Bermuda in this tournament.
Yeah.
Just your first impressions of the golf course and the island in particular.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing place this is. It's you can just tell that. Yesterday I played in the Pro-Am with with 4 locals, and there's just a demeanor here on the island of calmness and relax. There's a relaxed nature, and it's just obviously visually stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, but it seems to have a nice spirit to it too, the place, and I love it, and I'm very comfortable. And the golf course is just like week in and week out on the PGA Tour, we're spoiled. We play the best golf courses in the world, and we're playing one of them right here in Bermuda, so it's really cool.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thanks, Max.